Everywhere I go, I see his face. I just really miss him.
Yeah, I miss him too.
This is the Spider-Man Home Trilogy, right? So first we had Homecoming.
Yep.
Now we've got
Homecoming.
Far From... Sex addiction rehab did nothing.
It didn't do
did no good.
Everybody. Yep.
Then there's Spider-Man Far From Home, which is what we're reviewing now. Next we can expect Spider-Man Home Alone.
I feel like that's already. Maybe I've seen a movie that's already done that.
Spider-Man Home Improvement. Every
Home
time
Improvement?
Every time he just walks, Peter Parker just walks around being like,
Apart from that, we don't have anything else in terms of jokes to say. We're really here to tell you about the review of Homecoming. Far From Home, I should say.
Far From Home.
We just finished it, and I'm thoroughly impressed with this film. The first one was good, but this one I think is even better. But let's just do the drop and let's talk about it, people.
Then check this out.
Okay, so Tom Holland, he's doing well these days.
He's not. He's definitely not going down the charts.
He was recently in a Final Fantasy 14 commercial, by the way.
I didn't know that.
Look it up on YouTube. It's funny. Sam will insert a clip right here.
Okay, yeah.
Hey, you don't need that sword, man. You're not the warrior of darkness.
Yes, I am. Look at my sword.
Shut your fucking mouth!
Final Fantasy XIV Shadowbringers.
So he's also just been cast, by the way, or the rumor is, no, actually I think it's been confirmed, that he's going to play Nathan Drake, or a young Nathan Drake, in an Uncharted movie coming up. So he's not going to be like Nathan Fillion, older man Nathan Drake. He's going to be the younger version, like when they did Indiana Jones, and they did, the flashback part, where there was the young kid or whatever, and I think it was actually River Phoenix that played young Indy.
Did he?
Yeah, maybe it was Joaquin Phoenix.
No, I know what you're saying, but I
think
remember
it was River Phoenix.
I remember that scene. But anyway, I think it's good
let's just look that up. River Phoenix, we looked it up.
I was wrong.
River Phoenix. Anyway, so that's our tangent.
Okay, yeah.
And now we've got, Tom Holland's obviously playing Spider-Man once again, taking up the role once more of in Spider-Man Far From Home.
I think the previous dude, what was the guy that did the Spider-Man one? Amazing Spider-Man.
Andrew Garfield?
Yeah, that's right. Okay, look, he did too, and it kind of faded away, sadly.
He's like the James Bonds movies that no one remembers the guys of. There's like,
yeah.
there's the only James Bond is Sean Connery, and
there's Daniel Craig, but then there's the guy
the Roger Moore.
Yeah, I don't know. Who was the guy that we watched in the 90s?
Pierce Brosnan.
Okay, so
but then there was some other ones mixed in there that no one remembers. Andrew Garfield was one of those. Okay?
That's true. Sadly,
we should probably start talking about this movie.
I was gonna say, let's get there. The reason I'm saying that is because I think that did not get the full trilogy for a reason. Now I think these movies are onto something. They've been doing something just so on point in terms of humor, story, Tom Holland in terms of Spider-Man. They're onto something very, very good here. Now, I definitely think there will be a trilogy here.
But in fact, the ending cliffhanger is
that
massive.
a spoiler?
It's a spoiler to say. It's not a spoiler to say that this ending of this movie sets up big time for future stuff to happen in this space.
Future Marvel movies.
What a surprise, the ending credits of a Marvel movie set up for future Marvel movies, but this one definitely does that.
Definitely. But let's start with the actual story itself. Now, I think that, with so many Marvel movies, God, they run the risk of becoming generic in a lot of ways because there are so many stories they're putting forward every single year, 4 or 5 goddamn Marvel movies. Does this fall into this was semi-generic or a generic story? It wasn't completely out of the box stuff. It didn't feel like it was really giving you, whoa, that's a new way of doing a Marvel movie. But at the same time, it felt fresh enough that I was like, I like what they've done here. And it has its own identity.
I do think that for example, with Guardians of the Galaxy, you've got a very edgy kind of humor that's about sort of like buddy cop, but a big group of people, and you've got the soundtrack that really sets a lot of the tone and all that sort of stuff. And then you've got, stuff like this, for example, where I think it finds its edge because it's about a teenager, right?
And it's about internet humor in a way.
Well,
the comedy is very much surrounded by that.
It's about awkward kids, you know what I mean? And they're like, it's boy meets girl, and Peter wants to ask MJ out, but he doesn't know how to do it. And, people are meeting each other on this trip. And
it's like 15-year-old Ralph. That's what it is. It's more like 25-year-old Ralph, okay? It's like 30-year-old Ralph, okay? It's just Ralph, okay?
Totally.
All the time.
The movie.
Ralph the movie.
So this movie really nails that kind of coming of age aspect, or this trilogy, or whatever, however many movies they're going to do, is really nailing the youth part of Spider-Man. And I would say that more than I enjoyed the Spider-Man action, I enjoyed watching the Peter Parker parts of this movie.
Definitely.
I really believe that.
But I think any great Marvel movies, I think, yeah, cool, the action sequences are good, but it's the character that drives it, and I think that...
But I feel like there's a very separate dichotomy. Like, Tony Stark is Iron Man. They're completely inseparable.
Fine.
Versus Peter Parker and Spider-Man, they're two different characters.
Yes.
And seeing the tension between them and seeing the way that this movie in particular really drew that out.
But when the action actually kicks in, I thought it was still very, very good action. I mean, it wasn't Avengers Endgame stuff, but
nothing could be Avengers Endgame.
It really, nothing can. But the bottom line is, for a single superhero movie, it definitely held its own.
There was plenty of action. Like there was.
Sure.
I really enjoyed, as I said, the Peter Parker moments around the Spider-Man ones. I think that the action was very much propped up by the scenes that we saw with involving Mysterio. Now, we know Mysterio. If you watch the trailers, you know Mysterio is involved in this movie. I'm not going to say any more than that, right?
Sure.
I'm just going to say that there are really awesome scenes involving action with Mysterio.
Yep.
If you know a lot about the Spider-Man universe, you know about Mysterio and what his deal is. If you don't, cool, fair enough.
Yep.
Either way, he is the central character in this, outside of Spider-Man. And it's a fairly interesting story, and they do great stuff with him. It's very true to the comic book, I will say. But it also has a very unique modern-day spin on it that really, I think, works.
And the other character that is very central to this, as it has always been now with this kind of, Spider-Man Homecoming, Far From Home thing, is Tony Stark. Now, if you haven't seen Endgame, spoiler alert, but he's not currently around, okay? He's probably in some multiverse or some shit, but he's not in this current universe. He is dead, everyone. And I think that, I was definitely feeling the Tony Stark vibes throughout the whole thing.
Yeah.
And on top of that, there was definitely a sense of he was searching for who is going to be the next, person for him to, look up to and all that. I mean...
This movie is really in the shadow of Tony Stark.
It is, definitely.
It's a very central theme to it, and I think it handles it well in the sense that it doesn't indulge in it too much. It's not constantly wallowing in it, but it creates a central thread that really guides a lot of the characters and a lot of the moments.
Sure.
And it adds a lot more resonance to them.
But all in all, I think this is probably one of the best Spider-Mans I've ever seen. I really do. When we put together the story, the humor, the in-tune humor, I feel like, in terms of internet, young kids and stuff, it just works so well.
As fellow young kids, we get it.
We get it, okay?
How do you do, fellow kids?
And also, the action scenes, the new setting, the new kind of themes that you see in this, it all just works so well. I really feel like they're on a huge winning streak with this new Spider-Man thing that they're doing with Tom Holland. I'm looking forward to the next one.
To the likely sequel.
To the likely, how do you say trilogy, the third one? Treacle. That's a thing.
That's a thing.
That's a thing, everyone. Okay, but I do think they're definitely on a winning streak here. I'm looking forward to the next one.
Yeah.
Definitely one of the best Spider-Mans ever.
I would say that I walked out of this just being thoroughly satisfied with having spent $20. Sam actually bought the ticket. Thanks, Sam. And being like, cool, that's exactly what I wanted to be. It ticked every box. It nailed it across the board. And I would say that if you're a Spider-Man fan, you're gonna love it. If you're a Marvel movies fan, you're gonna love it. I really can't imagine a circumstance where you walk out of this movie and feel like, oh, that was shit.
Yeah,
I just think you're gonna
totally.
enjoy it.
And it's like, if you're not into action, if you're not into superhero movies, there's so many boxes being ticked here. If you like action movies in general and good humor and whatever, and a good love story kind of thing, go and see it.
I feel like you could take your girlfriend to watch this even if she doesn't like this shit because there's a love story in it.
Yes.
Girls love that shit.
Look at that. Look at that. Oh my god, that is just stereotyping, everybody. But with that, we are going to finish. We are going to be back with Laymen Live tomorrow.
No, it's not.
8 o'clock. Yeah, 8 Laymen Live.
Oh yeah, tomorrow.
Yeah, Ralph's forgetting when we actually recorded this.
That's right.
Laymen Live, 8 o'clock Sydney time, Australia. So I don't know where you are, but tune in, and we're going to be giving away a car from Ralph. Ralph's going to be paying for that car, everyone. Okay?
Sam's car, still his keys.
It's going to be given away by Ralph. Until then, see you guys later.